Hey, it's Nathan with OptionsForL.com. In this video, I'm going to go over my options trading that occurred this week ending January 2nd, 2026. We'll go over the positions that I closed out of, the positions that I opened up, and then we'll take a look at my open positions and kind of plan out what I'm going to do this week coming up and in the near future, if there's anything I need to pay attention to and or take action upon. So also I want to point out that I did do a couple live trading videos this week. So I have when I opened up my positions on Monday, the 29th of December, and I also did another video on Friday where I opened up a Leaps position and a poor man cover call. So if you're interested in some live trading videos, links in the description down below. So I'm in the Options4L options tracking dashboard. You can find it at tool.optionsforl.com. There is a free version that you can use. There's also a paid version that has additional features. If you're interested in learning more, optionsforl.com, and you can get more details or try it out and all that other good stuff. All right, so moving on, I'm on the dashboard and I want to go ahead and look at the last 7 days, and we can see my stats for this past week. So my total P&L realized was $1,261.19. I did open up 5 positions and I had a 100% win rate this week, so that's exciting. We can see my daily P&L breakdown as well as my strategy performance, but what I really want to focus in on in this video are the positions that closed this week, because that's when I actually realized my gains or losses, and then also the positions that I opened this week. So we'll start with the positions that I closed this week, and then we'll move over to the open positions. Now, some of them kind of overlap, so we'll kind of, do both things at once. All right, so the first things first, I had 2 covered call positions close on IBIT, and both of these positions I actually opened up this week as well. So you can see this IBIT position right here, the 29th. So I opened a position up on Monday, and so I have about 3,800 shares of IBIT that I can put covered calls against. And what I try and do is every week I put half of my stack of IBIT as covered calls. That's what I try and do. So about 19 covered call contracts per week on IBIT is kind of my goal. Now on Monday, IBIT dropped pretty hard right out of the gate, so I didn't want to put my full stack right on IBIT after it kind of crashed. So I only put 9 contracts on IBIT on Monday, so I have a 9 contract cover call position right here. And I also put on another 9 contract cover call on Tuesday. So IBIT kind of bounced back up come Tuesday, and I opened up another non-contract position. You can see right there with a $52 strike price, and it was about 15 cents per contract. So not the best premium. This is kind of a funky week because the stock market was closed on Thursday for the new year. And also I opened it on Tuesday, so I didn't get the usual premium that I get, but still $134.79. So those 2 positions I opened and closed this week. Now, I do want to point out that I did roll the position that I opened on Monday. So the position I opened on Monday, I opened with the $51.50 strike price. And then on Friday, IBIT started getting really close to the $51.50 mark. So I wound up rolling it on Friday, and I rolled it out to next week, January 9th, for a $53.50 strike price, so up $2. I also netted a credit as well, which was $359.79, so much better premium there, while also increasing my strike price by $2. So I rolled that position out, so I got 9 contracts expiring next Friday at the $53.50 strike price. I also had an Iron Condor close out this week, so let me open that position up. And so what I've been doing is every week I've been opening up another Iron Condor position on SPY about 40 days out, and I am trying to make between $400 to $500 a week doing these SPY Iron Condor trades. You can see that I made $437.22 off this trade. I closed it out a little bit early because it was the end of the year, and I was already at 92.9% return, which is pretty good. And SPY was actually really close to bumping up against my short call right here at $695 strike price. So I just closed that out, got it over with, so I didn't have to worry about it. And you can see that I locked in $437.22 with that particular trade. Finally, I have a cash secured put on IBIT that I also closed out. Now, it was actually part of a roll. So you can see right here, I opened another cash secured put for $7,633.77. And this one that I closed is part of that new position that I just opened. So if we open this up and we go to my roll chain history, we can see what's going on. So this has been rolling for quite a while. my initial position had an expiration date of October 17th, but then Bitcoin and IBIT started dropping pretty hard, and I've been rolling and trying to keep this thing alive because I'm pretty confident that IBIT and Bitcoin are going to bounce back up. So I'm trying to keep this particular trade alive, but you can see where I've been rolling it. So October 17th, a $62.50 strike price, and I rolled it to November 21 with the $59 strike price, and then to December 31st with the $56 strike price, and then I rolled it out like 3 more weeks to January, keeping the same strike price, and now I'm all the way out into May with a $54 strike price. And this position is for 10 contracts, and hopefully IBIT pumps above $54 here in the near future, and I can kind of close this position out. So that'd be nice, because I don't like rolling and rolling and rolling, as it is tying up my capital. But I think overall I'm going to turn this roll chain total positive, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. So that's that position right there. So let's talk about the positions that I opened up. Now, we already talked about some of these covered calls. So this is the covered call that I rolled on Friday, and it was from the position that I opened up on Monday. So this is the one we already talked about, where I rolled it from 51.50 to 53.50. So there's that position, and it coincides with this position right down here. So those are the same position, just different actions taken. This one I opened up and it closed out. It expired on Friday, so I got to keep all $134.79. Here's the Iron Condor that I opened this week. So I opened that another SPY Iron Condor, and you can see my short call strike is $710. February 6th expiration date, so I've got 33 days until expiration. And then my short put side is $660 strike price, so that's where we're sitting at. We see that the current price of SPY is $683, so I'm like smack dab in the middle right now of my 2 short strikes, so that's looking fine. And we already discussed this cash secure put on IBIT that I rolled, so that leaves us with these 2 positions. So I opened up a leaps position on MSTR. So we can see I spent $8,550 opening up this position. It's a buy to open call with a $100 strike price, expiration June 17th, 2027, so about a year and a half away, or 529 days. And the contract cost me $85.50, so that's why my total debit was $8,550. And I need MSTR or MicroStrategy or Strategy to go, above $185.50 by June 17th, 2027. Now, of course, I could sell this position before that, so we will see how things play out. You can see that I've already made $64.98, so a 0.8% return, but I'm hoping to make significantly more than that. Additionally, I'm opening up covered calls against that position. So I'm doing a poor man covered call, and so I opened up one of those over here, and you can see that I opened up a covered call on MSTR, $170 strike price, expiring January 9th, so coming up this Friday or in about 5 days. And so hopefully this position expires worthless, or maybe I need to roll it out and up. That'd be fine too. But this way I'm bringing in some cash to help cover the purchase of the long call option, because $8,500 was, kind of a lot of money. And so if I can help dampen that or lower that cost by selling covered calls against that position, doing the poor man covered call strategy, well then that's awesome. And that's kind of my goal for that position. Additionally, hopefully MSTR rips to the moon. All right, so those were the trades that I closed and opened this week. And I want to go to my open positions and kind of look and see if I need to pay attention to anything coming up this next week or in the near future. All right, so I have 2 positions expiring this week. I have the MSTR covered call that we just looked at, as well as an IBIT covered call that we also just looked at. And so I'm going to pop these up real quick, and I'm going to run a chart analysis on these 2 positions. So I can click this little chart icon. It brings me over to chart.options4l, which is a free site. You don't have to log in or anything like that. But what it lets you do is generate a chart for a particular stock ticker symbol, and also select a target date. So it generates a chart, and then you run analysis on that chart, and it gives you a prediction of where the price might be by your target date. So I'm going to do that for MSTR, and I'm also going to do it for IBIT right here. And we'll go ahead and run a chart right here and analyze chart. So those 2 are running, and the next position I have expiring is a SPY Iron Condor next Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and run a chart on this one as well and see where we are projected to wind up for SPY. So we got those 3 charts being analyzed by Claude Sonnet, and we'll see what they come back with. Now, while we're waiting, I'm just going to look at like the deltas and live prices and see if anything's like giving me cause for concern or anything like that. So my MSTR, my delta is 0.19, not real concerned about it. My IBIT covered call, delta is a 0.18, nothing to be concerned about. My SPY, Iron Condor, all the deltas are less than 10, so looking good there. My next SPY, Iron Condor, all the deltas are looking good there as well. And in looking at my total return, I can see that I am doing pretty good. Like this one right here is about 42.5%, which is about $238. Again, I want to try and make about $400 to $500 a week. So I need to squeeze a little bit more out of this position, but I got 19 more days to go, so I got some time. So nothing, nothing causing any concern, in the next month, basically, because this next Iron Condor also doesn't look too bad. So nothing to be super concerned about. Scrolling on down, I do have a few cash secured puts against IBIT that we've covered some of them, but I do have another one coming up, February 20th expiration, delta of 0.79. And you can see that I've rolled it a couple times. My roll chain is down about $5,000. My current position is down about $1,500. So it's not been a very good trade. I may need to look at rolling this out and down. As you can see, the strike price is $59 and the current price of IBIT is $50.94. So I need IBIT to come up about $8, which is maybe like 15% or so. It's kind of a big gap. I'm gonna go ahead and chart this as well. So this one's 48 days into the future, and we'll go ahead and analyze that chart as well. All right, so let's go ahead and come back and look at our charts that we have now. We have the MSTR chart, so let me load that up. And MSTR is looking bullish in the next 6 days, projected price $163.50. And so what this tool is doing is it looks at all the technical indicators and analyzes them, and it gives a full breakdown of its analysis on why it thinks it's going to the price it thinks it's going to. We got divergences and trends, the chart patterns, potential scenarios, and overall bias, and all that type of stuff. So you could read all these details and see how it came up with this projected price. And this price looks really good for me, so I kind of like looking at it. I have my short call at $170 strike price, so if it comes to 163, like that call will expire worthless and I can open up another covered call. Additionally, that bullish move will help my leaps option down here that I have, my leaps option on MSTR that expires in June of 2027. So, I want the price of IBIT to go up, so that move looks nice to me. All right, I have my IBIT covered call as well with the $53.50 strike price. So let's check out IBIT's chart. And so IBIT is also bullish this week. We got it going from $50.93 to $52. So that would be perfect. It's less than my $53.50 strike price on my short call. So that's good. And it being bullish is good for my cash secured puts because I do need it to go up. So these numbers are looking good to me. Now, of course, it's just reading and analyzing charts. Who knows what the heck's going to happen? We just attacked Venezuela or something to that effect, so who knows what the market might do on Monday. But we're going to do the best we can with the information we have currently. All right, so here's SPY then. So let's look at that chart. So it's sitting at 688.50 in the next 13 days. So that would be like perfect for my Iron Condor trade right there. And then finally, looking at the chart for IBIT on the 48-day time frame, it's at 56.50. Which is less than my strike price for my cash secured put of $59. But it is headed in the right direction, so I might need to roll this position again, depending how things play out. But at least things are looking bullish and promising, at least according to the charts. So anyway, those are my open positions and what I'm looking at maybe doing. And so next week, I'm going to open up another Iron Condor on SPY, try and make that $400, $500 a week. Again, I'm going to be looking at a expiration date about 40 days, 45 days into the future. And I'm also going to open up another covered call on my IBIT position. And so that's what I'll be doing on Monday. Now, one last thing that I like to do is I like to come over to this analysis tab and go to the AI open positions analysis. And I have AI go through my open positions and take a look at them. It looks at all the Greeks, all the prices, and analyzes my open positions and gives me any sort of advice on what it thinks I should do with my positions. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this report real quick, and we'll take a look at what AI thinks I should do with my open positions compared to, what I think I should do. And it's kind of like a checks and balances system. Maybe it points out things that I wasn't quite paying attention to, or maybe it confirms what I was already thinking, and so on. So we'll take a look at what it comes up with. All right, so the report has ran, and let's see what AI thinks I should do. So I have my immediate action items in the next 5 days. My MSTR short call expires on the 9th, 5 days till expiration, urgent. And its action closed today for a profit. My current profit is about 12 bucks. So I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to make more than just 12 bucks and it's worth the risk. Now it gives me the reason why it thinks I should close it. The 91% implied volatility means huge price swings are possible, and it also misinterpreted my position, so sometimes AI gets things wrong. It thinks that I have a naked short call with unlimited upside risk. Now that's not actually the case because I have that leaps option that I have this position against, and so in this case I know better than the AI. I have my IBIT covered call expires also on Friday. It wants me to let it expire, so I agree with that. I have my SPY iron Condor that expires in about 2 weeks, and they want me to close it now, and that's because my current profit and loss is $376.22, and I'm already at 94% of my max profit already. So why risk it? Close it out and move on to the next thing. Now, like I said, I want to try and get over 400 bucks before closing anything out, so I'm probably going to hold on to it a little bit longer, but I still may close it a little early. So I'm kind of in agreement with that recommendation. So my position by position recommendations, I have my MSTR position, so I have my long call, which is my core position, and it recommends that I hold this position, which, yep, I agree with. And then the short call, they want me to close immediately, which I'm not going to. It goes through all my IBIT positions, and it's concerned of my massive bullish concentration. It is concerned about my cash secured put that I just rolled this week to the $54 strike price out in May expiration date. So kind of rolled it far, and it's giving me a roll chain trap like warning and another roll chain trap warning. And it really doesn't like how many times I am rolling these things. But I'm quite bullish on IBIT, and I think it's going to go past that $54 mark by May, and I should wind up okay. So I'm going to ignore it at this time. Same concept that I have with the cash secured put that's expiring in March, and same concept with the one expiring in February. Now this one is a bit of a concern. We already looked at it. It's about $8 in the money already, so it wants me to close out of this position and just cut my loss. And then it does evaluate my long call positions or my leaps positions on IBIT as well, and it recommends that I hold them for now. And then my covered call with the $53.50 strike price expiring this Friday is just perfect, and we're gonna let it expire. And it goes through my SPY positions, so it wants me to close this one this week. The next one coming up is on track, so hold until 7 to 10 days to expiration, then close for a profit. So okay, I'm on board with that. Same concept with this one. Same concept with this one, and I'm in agreement with what it's saying about the iron Condor positions that I have. Moving on, I do have a covered call position expiring June 2026, and they're talking about another roll chain bleeding. So this might be true on this particular position, and it gives me some recommendations to close or roll now. And I'm just going to let that one kind of hang out a little bit longer. I know that it's there, and I know that it's kind of a problem. It talks to me about my portfolio risk summary, concentration risk, my overall portfolio Greek profile. So this is where it analyzes the Greeks going on, my delta, theta, vega, and gamma. I'm not going to go through all this information, but I just wanted to show you all the details that it's going through. My theta decay analysis, my priority action list, top 3 this week. So close the MSTR. $170 short call today, and again that's because it thinks it's a naked short call, which it's not because I have the leaps option. It wants me to close my IBIT $59 strike put this week. I'm not going to do that either. And then it wants me to make a decision on my IBIT roll chains, and then things to watch, price levels, and upcoming events, and portfolio triggers, and final thoughts. That's what AI thinks about my portfolio. I agree with it on a lot of it, and I also agree that if I wasn't so bullish on IBIT and Bitcoin, then I would probably have to take some action, but I feel pretty good about Bitcoin and IBIT going positive and being bullish in these next few months. So hopefully I'm right. Time will of course tell, so we'll see what happens. So anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it interesting. Again, if you want to see the live trades, check in the links in the description. I have these 2 videos on live trades that I did this week. Again, if you're interested in checking out the tool, you can go to tool.optionsforl.com or just optionsforl.com. Or if you want to look at the chart analysis tool, you can go to chart.optionsforl.com or optionsforl.com. I got everything linked on optionsforl.com. And of course, I appreciate it if you click the subscribe button or leave a comment. And that's it. I hope you have a great rest of the day.